All right, let's just jump right in. For like the last 100 years or so, global power was all about one thing: oil. Whoever had it, whoever controlled it, they basically shaped the world. But what if I told you that entire system is being rewired as we speak, and it's all based on a new resource that's even more critical? We're not just turning a page here, we're talking about a completely different book.
And this slide, well, it just lays it out perfectly. It's what people are calling the Great Substitution. Think about it. The oil barrel was the symbol of power for a century, right? Well, that's being replaced by this, the silicon wafer, the heart of the intelligence age. The data center, that's the new oil refinery. The most strategic resource of the 21st century isn't crude oil anymore. It's compute power, plain and simple.
So you hear that phrase, compute is the new oil, and it sounds catchy, right? But listen, this is not just some clever line. This is, and I mean this literally, the fundamental rewiring of global power. The ability to process massive amounts of information is quickly becoming the #1 way to measure how powerful a country is. And one nation has just made this absolutely audacious move to not just get a seat at the table, but to build a whole new table.
And that's where this story really gets interesting. We're talking about India's $15 billion bet. And trust me, this is way more than just an investment. This is a foundational move. It's them planting a flag in this new AI economy.
Just look at that number, $15 billion. That's the scale of this landmark partnership between the Adani Group and Google, and their goal? To build India's biggest AI and data center hub. But here's the thing you gotta understand. This isn't just about plugging in a bunch of servers. No way! This is about creating an entirely new kind of national infrastructure.
Okay, so what exactly is this Visakh project? Well, for starters, it's going to be the country's largest AI data hub. Huge. But here's the really brilliant part. It's being integrated directly with clean, renewable energy. This makes it a strategic, nation-building kind of move. And part of that strategy? Keeping all the data in the country. That's about data sovereignty, making sure India controls its own information, not some company halfway across the world. The big picture goal here is to flip the script, to take India from being just a massive consumer of digital stuff to a major producer of it.
And that leads us to what might be the most unique part of this whole plan: creating a green AI hub. This is where India is trying to literally leapfrog everyone else by fusing clean energy and artificial intelligence together from the ground up.
What they're building is this amazing virtuous circle. Let me break it down for you. Step 1, you've got tons of cheap, clean energy, solar, wind, and you use it to power these incredibly power-hungry AI data centers. Simple enough. But then, step 2, you use that same AI to make the energy grid smarter and more efficient. And then step 3, this whole loop just feeds itself. Clean energy powers AI, AI makes clean energy better, and the whole thing just drives national growth. It's a pretty genius setup.
So here's the bottom line. This is the real goal. By smashing these two revolutions together, AI and green energy, India has a legitimate shot at creating the cheapest energy and the cheapest intelligence on the planet. I mean, just stop and think about that for a second. If you have the world's cheapest power and the world's cheapest brains, you have a strategic advantage that is just impossible for the rest of the world to ignore.
Now, of course, none of this is happening in a bubble, right? There's a whole new global rivalry going on. Some are even calling it a new AI Cold War. And this is where India is trying to forge what's being called a digital third way.
So if you look at the world today, there are basically 3 competing models for how to do AI. You've got the US model. It's all corporate-driven, right? Big tech, venture capital, that's who runs the show. Then you got the China model, which is completely state-driven. It's all about centralization and control from the top down. And then there's India, carving out this third path, open, yes, but also fiercely protective of its own digital sovereignty.
And the official term for this strategy is digital non-alignment. Now, that doesn't mean they're just sitting on the fence or closing themselves off. Not at all. It's about strategic autonomy. It means, yeah, they'll work with partners like Google, but it's going to be on their terms. They're building their own stuff with their own power, securing their own data. It's the difference between independence and just plain old dependence.
Okay, so when you start putting all these pieces together, the tech, the green energy, the geopolitics, you start to see this incredible grand vision taking shape. It's the blueprint for a potential new world order, and it's built on something they're calling the trillion-dollar trinity.
All right, so part 1 of this trinity, artificial intelligence. It's meant to be India's new brain, its cognitive engine. But, and this is a really big but, there's a key difference in philosophy. A lot of Western AI is built to optimize for one thing, profit. The ambition here is totally different. It's to build an AI that optimizes for justice, using it for fairer resource allocation or making public services more efficient and, more human.
Pillar number 2, green energy. If AI is the brain, this is the heart. It's the sustainable power source that's going to run the whole show. And this is so important because it means India's AI ambitions aren't just smart, they're also sustainable. They're trying to build a future without the massive carbon footprint that could drag down other AI superpowers.
And finally, the third pillar, alliances with the global south. This is the geopolitical game changer. It's the force multiplier. The whole idea is to export these tools of empowerment, the cheap AI, the clean energy grids, to other developing nations. They're not trying to create dependency, they're trying to build a whole team of digitally sovereign partners.
So what's the end game here? What's the ultimate goal of this trinity? Well, it's nothing less than to flip the entire world map on its head. The plan is to lead this new group of AI-ready, energy-rich nations and turn what we've always called the global south into the new global center, the new source of data, ethics, and growth for this century.
Which really just leaves us with one final and pretty deep question. You see, this whole thing isn't just about building faster chips or bigger data centers. It's about the kind of intelligence we're creating. It's a huge ethical ambition. Can a nation actually intentionally build an intelligence with a soul? I mean, that is the real trillion-dollar question that India is trying to answer.